And in today's episode, among other things, you'll see NeoClone, the most advanced version of the protoclone, has been revealed, and it promises, besides muscles similar to ours, skin that can feel touch. Brain illusion. United States scientists use lasers to show that some things we see aren't real. Could this be proof of the simulation? Brazil is already using cargo drones in Salvador and plans to expand the service nationwide. A glimpse into the brain. A mini imaging device can show neural activity in real time, even when the test subject is moving. The world's kindest humanoid robot demonstrates quite impressive empathy while doing household chores. Let's check all of that out. Hello, impressed? I'm Realidade Impressionante, and you're watching Realidade Impressionante. Without further ado, let's get to the video. In Salvador, Brazil, logistics future has already moved from lab tests to the skies. Bahia's capital now hosts the nation's largest urban cargo drone route, operating beyond pilots' line of sight. A 40-kilometer route links Estela Mares neighborhood to Contorno Avenue. In aircraft with up to 10 kilos capacity, local companies are redesigning urban transportation. Faster, cleaner, and above all, more efficient. Neldente, a global dental implant giant, is the country's first in the sector to use drones in operations. Since January, the company has used a National Civil Aviation Agency certified air cargo model, cutting delivery times, boosting safety, and lowering carbon emissions. The one making this whole revolution possible is Speedbird Aero, a Brazilian startup that is already among the international references and systems. The model used in Salvador, the DLV-2, is the first Brazilian aircraft certified to fly beyond the line of sight. It can travel over 20 kilometers and carry up to 10 kilos, enough for clinics, hospitals, and analysis labs. Today, Speedbird already transports biological material for the Pardini Group, showing that air logistics is not just a promise, but is already a reality. Fully operational, the city is notable for its infrastructure with 10 ADC, regulated takeoff and landing points up to Itaparica Island. To minimize risks, flights are mostly over the sea due to rules against flying over populated areas. Salvador was also the first Brazilian city to create a municipal policy promoting unmanned aircraft use, establishing guidelines to integrate drones into urban planning. The next steps are even more ambitious. Speedbird and SenykMusic are developing new models that carry up to 50 kilograms and have a 100-kilometer range. The goal is to expand to regions like Linha Verde and Morro de São Paulo. This creates an aerial logistics corridor that could transform our coastline's connectivity. What is also quite impressive is that Brazil, with Salvador standing out, got ahead of several other countries. While many are still discussing regulatory barriers, here we already see commercial operations underway, fixed routes, and expansion plans. Yeah, I know. Most Brazilians weren't even aware of this tech side, right? And if drones here can already cross the city safely carrying cargo, how long do you think it will take for this technology to become the new standard for deliveries here in our Brazil? From medicine to daily shopping, have you considered drones soon delivering your purchases to your home? Looks like this won't take long. Comment below with your opinion. Ever look at a simple drawing and feel like you see something that isn't actually there? I think that's called pareidolia, right? Comment below if I'm wrong. This trick of our own brain creates an illusion. For the first time, scientists have identified the neural circuit and cell type responsible for this phenomenon, revealing how our mind constructs illusory images that don't exist in our real world. The University of California, Berkeley, and the Allen Institute of Theater made an interesting discovery in their study. The cells, called CI encoding neurons, are actually responsible for tricking our brain. These neurons operate through a process known as recurrent pattern completion, in which higher areas of our visual system interpret incomplete fragments, such as the open corners of a square, and they send a command back to the primary visual cortex, instructing our brain to see a complete figure. To test this hypothesis, scientists used 2-photon holographic optogenetics, employing lasers to directly stimulate encoding neurons. They recreated in mouse brains the same neural activity seen when an illusion is perceived. In other words, even without any real figure in front of their eyes, the animals' brains created an illusory image from the stimulation. This discovery overturns the idea that seeing is a passive process, where the brain only receives visual information. The study shows vision is active. The brain interprets, completes, and even invents parts of reality to build the experience we have in our world. The work has very profound implications beyond scientific curiosity, all right? Jerome Lecoq of the Allen Institute says studying how illusory patterns form can aid research into neurological disorders like schizophrenia, where the brain creates object representations without external stimulus. Mapping which cells and in which layers these activities happen paves the way for future treatments. The study shows perception is more than just a window to reality, but it's an active process in which our brain shapes what we see, filling in the gaps and sometimes creating worlds that exist only inside our own heads. If what we see can, at some point, be just a construction of our brains, it's understandable that some people ask, to what extent is what we call reality actually real? Or is it just a shared illusion? What are your thoughts on this? It's wise, right? Comment down below. When we think of humanoid robots, usually the image that comes to mind is of cold machines, with stiff movements and expressionless faces, isn't it? But the Chinese company Fourier decided to break this paradigm by introducing the GR3A humanoid, designed not only to perform tasks, but also to convey something that, until recently, seemed exclusive to our species: empathy. Called the world's kindest, the GR3 was recently unveiled in the lineup. Unlike earlier versions designed for industry and research, this new humanoid is focused on social and domestic use. In the presentation video, he appears helping a human art curator remember details about works in a museum, assisting visitors in various languages and supporting busy mothers with work-life balance. In another scene, a student uses him as a model for painting. The robot responds to the wave with a friendly gesture, showing coordination and an almost human presence. Behind this charisma, there is refined engineering, all right? The GR3 weighs 71 kilograms, is 1.65 meters tall, and has 55 degrees of freedom, which ensure balance and movements that are almost natural. Its secret lies in the multimodal full perception interaction system, which integrates vision, sound, and touch, all in real time. With cameras capable of recognizing faces, pressure sensors spread throughout its body, and an animated facial interface, the robot can blink, follow gazes, and even react to mass touches, convincing with distinctive aesthetics. Far from the industrial or military look that currently dominates robotics, GR3 was designed to appear approachable and friendly. Its fluid walk, combined with almost realistic gestures, and even the fatigue mode, gave it a captivating presence. He doesn't just perform tasks, he interacts as if he were a household companion. However, what stands out the most is the fusion between function and emotion. The GR3 can indeed function as a multilingual tour guide, but also as a household assistant, or even a facilitator in social environments. All this while conveying the feeling of being genuinely present. This leap is not just technical, but conceptual. This suggests the future of humanoids may focus more on emotional coexistence with humans than on mechanical replacement. At ROF Base in Tyndall, Northern Australia, tense silence was broken by a buzzing sound, which will permanently transform how nations project air power. The M-Q-28 Ghostbat, also called Loyal Wingman, took off to publicly show its abilities, which until recently seemed like science fiction. Autonomous flights, swarm operations, and integration with manned aircraft networks. Yes, it looks like a plane, but it's a drone. Actually, it's more than just a drone. Australia aims to produce the tip of a new military paradigm domestically. The Ghostbat emerged after 6 years of partnership with the Royal Australian Air Force and Boeing Australia. It has undergone testing with around 150 real flight lessons and 20,000 simulation hours. Built to work with traditional fighter jets, it has a 7.3-meter wingspan, 11.6-meter length, and uses a Williams FJ-33 turbofan, achieving subsonic speed and over 3,700 kilometers range. Its modularity matters more than the numbers. A modular nose holds sensors, payloads, and weapon systems. The Ghostbat serves as a sentinel, intelligence multiplier, or analog. A public demonstration confirmed key functions: coordinated autonomous flight, multi-aircraft missions, and field operations at Tyndall Base, along with E7A early warning interoperability and networked data exchange between Ghostbat and piloted platforms. This means ongoing surveillance across large areas, quicker coastal threat response, and more tactical flexibility in complex situations. Besides its domestic use, the Ghostbat is also aimed at exports and has drawn international interest. The United States Navy has evaluated variants, and negotiations are underway with other countries like Poland. This indicates that loyal wingman platforms could very soon become a globally valued defense product. Australia is betting the benefits outweigh the risks, transforming its northern coast. No longer an indefensible point, as some believe, but a line of projects that can indeed move forward. The advanced technological support. And understanding how our brain transforms electrical impulses into thoughts, memories, and behaviors has always been one of science's greatest challenges. And now, a miniature device promises to open an unprecedented window into this mystery. Called Deep Miniscope, it is capable of recording brain activity in real time with high resolution. This is first being done in freely moving animals. It's as if scientists are able to see the mind in action, and all this without the need for invasive surgeries. The technology's concept is bold. The Deep Miniscope replaces the traditional lens with an ultra-thin mask containing over 100 microlenses each, capturing a unique perspective. Advanced artificial intelligence algorithms combine these viewpoints into a three-dimensional image, which is highly detailed. This allows researchers to reconstruct both the shape and dynamics of neural activity in real time. This approach solves a critical limitation. Until now, imaging systems worked very well, but only in controlled environments. But they failed when faced with the complexity of living tissues, where light scattering, low contrast, and the volume of data made the task almost impossible. With his hybrid neural network merging deep learning and model-based optimization, the Deep Miniscope can now succeed. It's able to see through the tissue and reveal how neurons fire, interact, and organize themselves into patterns. In early tests, Wei Zhengyang's team at the University of California recorded mouse brain activity with unmatched clarity. For the first time, it was possible to observe the brain in full operation while the animal explored its environment, directly showing the relationship between behavior and neural processes. And the potential of this is immense. By linking perception, cognition, and action in real time, the tool can speed up understanding of neurological diseases, from epilepsy to schizophrenia, and it creates opportunities for new treatments. And more than that, Yang is already working on an even smaller wireless version, with only 2 square centimeters, literally the size of a rat's hat. This enables more natural experiments by monitoring the brain without restricting movement. This breakthrough indicates a paradigm shift. Vision ceases to be just a metaphor for human knowledge and becomes something literal. For the first time, scientists are about to see in real time how the mind constructs reality. This breakthrough makes everyone wonder how soon we'll truly understand the origins of consciousness. If it even comes into existence at some point, or if it's always been with us. I don't know. I don't get it. Tell me in the comments if you understand any of this. And now, imagine a robot that's not made of rigid motors or metal gears, but of artificial muscles, tendons, and ligaments that contract and relax, just like ours, like those of human beings. That's the bold proposal of Clone Robotics, a startup that's turning science fiction concepts into increasingly realistic prototypes. Yes, we've discussed it before on Incredible Reality, but now there are new project updates. Founded in 2021, the company decided to break away from the slow progress of humanoid robotics. Instead of incremental steps, they chose to rebuild the human body in detail, from the musculoskeletal design to the joints. All of this with the goal of creating androids that not only imitate, but also move just like us. The starting point was the hand, considered the most complex organ in terms of freedom of movement. In 18 months, Clone created a working robotic arm with artificial muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Soon after, they evolved to a full-body prototype in just 1 more year. The heart of this innovation lies in fluidic muscle technology. They are inspired by human muscles and work like internal rubber tubes, covered by inextensible textile fibers. When filled with pressurized fluid, the tubes contract, pulling the artificial bones and creating movements so natural they look organic. This design is based on a model known as Mike Ben, but here it is powered by water, moved by a so-called hydraulic heart. This whole system gives rise to smooth and flexible movements, very different from motorized robots, which are already traditional and tend to look mechanical and quite limited. Clone's detailed anatomy design gave Protoclone Phi-1, launched in February, over 200 degrees of freedom. 1,000 myofibrils and 500 sensors precisely mimic human biomechanics. The latest development is the Clone Alpha, a full-scale humanoid robot that marks the company's official market entry. The next step is the NeoClone, which should take this technology even further. These androids' brains use NVIDIA Jetson chips for motion control and motor planning. Sensors track each artificial muscle's position, torque, force, and length, allowing impressive control. For now, the team has put aside the idea of adding touch-sensitive skin. They're already working on a next-generation artificial dermis that can sense pressure, texture, and temperature. This will enable delicate tasks like handling tissues in surgery or manipulating fragile objects with human-like dexterity. The vision of the company's chief executive officer is very clear. Robots that are more than useful machines. They're realistic artificial bodies that can exist in human environments, opening doors, making meals, and living with us almost seamlessly. That's right, my friends. When the human-machine front line gets so blurred that a robot needs to, quote-unquote, drink water to move around, we would be creating something closer to life than to engineering. Well, that's your job. Answer down here. Yeah. And biological eels have always intrigued scientists with their unusual ability. Even after severe spinal cord injuries, they continue to move with surprising coordination. The mystery of how they manage such a feat has now been deciphered by an international team, led by Itohaku University over in Japan. The answer may inspire a new generation of robots that can adapt to unpredictable environments. The secret lies in a clever balance between neural rhythm and sensory feedback. Eels don't rely solely on the brain to control their movements. Each segment of their body contains a neural circuit capable of generating the rhythmic patterns of locomotion. When this internal rhythm merges with a simple stretch and pressure signal, the body moves in a coordinated way, even if injured. It's as if the body itself takes command, dispensing with direct orders from the control center, which would be the brain. To prove this, the researchers developed a model that simulates the eel's neural system using computer simulations. The result was surprising. The robot not only swam steadily but also crawled on land, avoiding obstacles and even pushing objects. The stretch feedback proved to be essential, providing energy to propel the body forward, just like with a real eel. The technological impact is direct, understand. This model paves the way for highly adaptable robots, capable of moving in different scenarios, from disaster zones to alien surfaces on space missions. Imagine Eel-Inspired machines exploring underground oceans on distant moons, or navigating earthquake debris on Earth. This isn't the first time engineers have copied eels. In 2017, Swiss researchers developed the Envy robot, an aquatic robot that detects pollutants in lakes and rivers. This new model goes even further. It shows how to recreate the neural plasticity of nature for machines that not only obey, but also learn and adapt to the environment. So, did you like this content here? Remember that everything you saw is right here in the description. You can check the sources for study if you like that kind of thing. Thanks for sticking with me. Click one of the two options on your screen now or soon, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for supporting me and for sharing the videos like you've been doing, all right? If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. It's important for the channel and for you if you enjoy this content. Thanks. Bye-bye, transcription.